All right. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey,
Good,
long time.
good to see you. All right. We've been around for a while for all of this. So I'm going to queue up some slides. Mark and I are going to kind of go through a few things together. We'll make sure that what we have will be available for everybody. It's basically a story map, but I'm going to start. Let me just get the screen share going real quick. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that one. So again, we'll start. This is going to be the history of GIS Day in LA County with Mark and I, because we've been around through all of it. So there's us back in our spry days. There's
Yeah, looking good, Nick.
yeah. And I think, by the way, we may have made the chat available for this as of now. I don't think I'm gonna be able to see any of it, but the idea was we're gonna go through some things. There might be somebody you identify or know in there, and so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about that and go to it. So with that, then we're gonna exit this for a second, and we're gonna get this one going, and we'll just start, right, Mark? I mean, let's just go. We're gonna talk about
I was going to
GIS,
say one
but go for it.
background. So a lot of folks. This is kind of retrospective, but this really was looking through this is about the people that made it possible. There's a bunch of slides in here about all the committees and the people that started this off, like our predecessors. It's kind of fun to go through that. So yeah, I mean, enjoy.
Yeah. So
Right?
we're gonna get a lot of talks today about some deep stuff. What Bonnie was talking about, the history of LA. This is kind of the history of our LA County GIS. Is the sound coming through, Mark?
No.
Very lightly. Okay, so we can do that. Don't worry, it's not important if the sound's not going.
Yeah. Okay, I can hear it now.
Okay, very light.
Yeah.
There we go.
So this is where we started from back in 2008. Some of the folks that are out there, Ken Bennett, Emilio Solana, I'm sure you guys remember that. It's always fun from the beginning. If you guys recall, we would bring out these big trucks. This one came from the LAPD. What amazed me is how many people just brought amazing, machines, material to the GS Day. If you remember, Nick, at the beginning, we had to just put all the, figure out how we're going to do this with the tent.
Yeah.
Remember ARC IMS? I think on the story map, we'd have the timeline of all the technology that we've been using.
Yeah.
We also, Warren Roberts from Rio Honda. We've had a lot of good folks. We outreach to educational institutions. There's Jonathan Corbridge, if you guys remember him, our Esri rep. But it's kind of, always a lot of fun just trying to share, bring all kinds of disparate people together, universities, us, private companies, kind of modeled on the Esri conference. We had our map gallery, which is always some pretty cool stuff. And if you remember, there's David Ahia and Richard Ledesma from DPSS. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, really cool. So here we go. Here's 2009. So this is our second year there at the Civic Center Mall. Big tents, a lot of vehicles, right? So the idea was you had presentation track. You had people. There's Bill Fujioka. We're going to see him a few times. He's a former CEO of the county, was a big supporter of GIS. Here's our game, right?
First time.
Yeah. So we have an online GIS Day game. Make sure, and that's our picture from Mark, because you were manning the booth where people would submit their entries. Now you're going to do that online. There's Peter Fonda-Bernardi, Michelle. There's this group again. Everything. Oh, a young John Halaka. Yeah. Although John is still young, but that's the Public Works booth. There's Emilio Solano from the assessor. He has since retired.
He was a big open source,
good life.
Yeah, open data advocate.
Yeah, and here's our big tents, right? So one day, maybe next year, we'll get back in the big tents. You can see it. We put the map gallery under it. Now we put the map gallery outside of it. You'll see those pictures. There's Garo and Marianne and Ken. Again, that was our speakers tent right there. Now our speakers were all online. There's me. This is probably where I was telling Bill Fujioka about GIS positions.
Yep.
Telling him, hey, we need them. Martha Seelig is second from the left. She helped run all of the GIS Day until she retired a few years ago. Here's that Public Works group again. There's Dina Yin, Michelle, Tommy Brown on all the tents that you see. So again, anything we do, either online or in person, there's a lot that goes into it. Love this mapping truck. I remember when they got this, the fire department, and we always had to worry. Today's a big wind day. That truck could be somewhere, and let's all pray that we get through the wind event today. There's Public Works again. Here's my table, regional planning, and some of my colleagues from there. Again, just spreading the word and the gospel of GIS. Can't have GIS without a map gallery, of course.
Yep.
There's Tommy Brown. And Yoko, she had her GIS Day event for Santa Clara County 2 weeks ago. So there's Yoko. And we'll move on to 2010.
Yeah, so it's always good to see Yoko and see how LA County just goes out and spreads its wings. So she's now the GIS manager or GIO for Santa Clara County. In 2010 we moved to Public Works facility because they were renovating Grand Park. That took a couple years. It was good place over here. Jeff Wingate was out there with his bullhorn. You guys remember that? It was a good little exercise. That's the mapping section. That's actually what I'm in charge of right now. It's kind of fun to see. And then, Martha was she was a key. She kind of ran almost everything, made sure that everything ran smoothly. So it's always that, those. And then we also one of the other key folks were the people that were organizing all of our volunteers. So again,
Jake from State Farm.
Jay.
That was my Jake from State Farm invitation.
Yeah.
So.
It's always fun to see all these slides. Like a lot of these folks are, now grown. They're managers. They moved up. It was cool. We look at all the people. I love seeing how everybody looking really interested. And Wassup, he was probably our best cartographer at the time. We stole him from you for a year, Nick, right? Yeah. And then he moved to the United Nations, and he's like, where is he now?
Yeah. Hey, there we are. That's our cameo again.
That's you and me. This was fun. I mean, this is my favorite slide. Actually, the poster that we made, and we got a picture of GIS Day from the top. Obviously, all the rooms were off to the side, but that was Rich Sanchez, who was the CIO, my boss at the time, and he was speaking, and he was a big advocate and made a lot of things happen. So it's cool to see. Emilio. Now we got Jim Kobaki, who's in charge of that same section now, and then. Always the GIS Day game. That was always fun. We're in the county. I think later on you'll see we actually used up all the county stuff, so we had to go to the state. But that's our first cake. So that was a cool thing that we started to do and get the cake. And there's, Vanina, was at mental health. Now she's I think at UCLA.
All right. And now here's our 5th anniversary. Today's our 15th anniversary. So this is 10 years ago. Still at Public Works, so we did 3 years there. That's that kind of inner courtyard where we had our stuff. This is the money shot right here of Gail Farber, the former director of Public Works, second from the left. Again, we got a good photographer this day. There's Bill Fujioka. Again, he was such a big supporter of GIS. It was really good to have an advocate like that. Again, that mapping truck, that mapping unit, they still have that always out there. These are students from 10 years ago, so now there's no licensing things. And they're out there playing the game and enjoying the GIS Day event. Hopefully we get some schools out again when we reconvene. That's the first planning meeting shot, planning group after, and you'll see now we put a lot of those in. Another cake cutting ceremony. There's Jacob Williams, who is a really big advocate as well, Public Works Deputy Director.
Yeah, it's always fun. It was great when the students started to come, like from Clark Magnet, I think Roosevelt High School. That made a big difference. So we finally made it back to Grand Court or Olive Court, and that was Rick Cole, who's a deputy mayor. I mean, it's always amazing to me the people that we get to keynote. It's always fun every single year. There's putting the map gallery, just amazing stuff that's out there. That was, I think, a planning commissioner, you said, Nick?
Yeah, Hal Helsley, also retired and since passed, but great man, very big supporter of GIS Day.
It's always, these are great. It's just fun to see how busy and how interested and excited everybody was. And you never know what people are working on. So then I love you, Nick. You're in the back there, and you got Roman
with the signs.
With the sign, that's awesome. So Pictometry Eagle View has always been a big supporter.
Yeah. So now we're at 2014.
This is a big one.
This was a big one. I put a little tribute. That was Milan Svitek, my director who had passed. That was a tribute to him. But this really was the day of Jack Dangermond visited. He was our keynote, and we had a really good time with him there. He's like, think of a rock star, right? He was our rock star there. Giving the keynote, talking to us about GIS. This is Dominique
Dominique. Yeah.
Evans from Clark Magnet, right? Had some students there. They gave a presentation. Again, just trying to get a picture with him with City Hall there. That was a good one. Glad we were able to do that. I think you cornered him somewhere and said, hey, let me show you this.
I did that on a plane once. I talked to him for an hour on the way back from Cal GIS. So
because we know he flies with the regular folks. He's a good dude. All right, there we go. And another cake cutting ceremony. Always fun to do that. Always good to eat some cake.
Yeah. So I mean, all going back through all the banners is great. There's our committee that year, and you can see that it's fun. I mean, just like now we're getting into coffee. You know, I always want to thank the sponsors, right? We always had a big poster that was out there, you know, putting that up there. And then this was the year of the duck. I don't know if you guys remember, like a container ship full of ducks, like rubber ducks fell out of a container ship, and they're tracking ocean currents with those, and they pulled this huge thing into the port. It was really cool. That was a part of LA. And I'm stabbing the cake. Yeah.
whatever, Mark, it's always around the cake. He's cutting it or he's attacking it. There you go.
Exactly. So we're having fun. I love the overhead shot that we have here, you know, bringing in the fire vehicles with the tent. I mean, you know, it'll be great to get back there. Esty Garrity, with the chief medical, she was giving the talk, and that's Hilda Solis. I mean, you know, I got 20
minutes with her. I got 20 minutes to tell her about GIS. It was really fun.
I mean, that's the labor secretary, or you know, now she became a supervisor. You know, there's getting all the universities was great to see, and a way to see the growth of GIS inside of the academic profession. There's our committee. There's Tia, I think, for the first time that I've seen, and Christine. And this is a cool cake, actually. All that stuff. Yeah,
we're going to do another one with unincorporated areas, because that's what we care about too. Don't forget the unincorporated areas. Hey, there's us when we were younger.
Anybody know how many cities there are in the county? Put in the chat. Put that
in the chat if you know. All right, there you go. You don't win anything, but that's okay. And this was the year of the drone. So we had a drone up there with Warren Roberts, and that's a cool picture of when they had that thing. And then a drone boat. Isn't that cool? So they do bathymetry mapping of some of the reservoirs. Also, we had the 3 trucks this time. You got a van, a truck, and a super truck. I mean, this was like GIS Day heaven. We were in it. There's Chris Capelli. He's a really high up guy at Esri, with Garo from the assessor. Here's our EGIS team. Great group. They're all still there. Satya's retired. Enjoy your retirement. Again, people playing the game.
Now we're in California, right? So
yeah, play that game today. Real prizes. Look at that tent. Look at how many people. We're going to get back next year, and we're going to get a big tent there. Although I do love seeing 200 or 300 people online. I think that's great. That's our planning committee group for 2017.
Doug Morales, who was at Public Health.
This time, Christine got in there on the cake, Mark. Aha.
Those are some big cakes.
Those were big cakes.
So, you know, so then obviously I think this was the last one in person, but this is really cool. There's Steve Steinberg for the first time. We did this a few times, like getting GIS Day up on in front of the board, getting a scroll. Those are really cool. I mean, you know, I always love seeing the number of people that were out in that tent, the overflow, just seeing the interest for, you know, people that aren't really they don't know how to use the technology, but they know its value. There's like the controller of LA City was there a couple times. Ron Galperin, huge open data fan, and really helped push City of LA.
It's Warren.
That's always fun to see. Students with Warren. I mean, Warren's done a lot. He's run trainings over here at Public Works.
Cameo with Shannon.
Yeah.
All right.
Shannon.
RSD now. All right, Shannon. There's our tent.
I saw the comment from Tom, which is interesting, is actually Martha did an analysis that said that GIS Day had a 1 in like 500 chance of it raining. So it was really good. Or she did an analysis like that.
Although it's really windy today. Today, our banners and stuff would have been all over the place. Maybe. So we'll come into 2019. Now we end up with the virtual events, right? So
no, this is the last of the in-person.
Sorry, the last one in person. I'm sorry. This was a census count, so that's why it was GIS Day counts. There's Dean Logan, register recorder head, big supporter of GIS. There's me with the scroll, right? Of course, the scroll is cool. They're handwritten. This is right probably before the keynote. Somebody's out there talking, and it looks like it was a cold morning, like probably this week. There's Mauricio. He's in the back side today, helping out with the chat moderation. And again, people bring their tables, they bring their stuff. They had a small game themselves, this group here at Cal Poly, so that was nice. We didn't have a cake this year. We had cookies, and that's Amanda from Eagle View. And that's my regional planning folks manning the game booth again. Xiaoxing and Eddie, thank you. That's my team. Again, hey, I take a lot of the pictures. It's 15 years worth, 14 years worth, so we're in a few extra. My apologies. There's the EGIS team again. And they're the ones that run it all behind the scenes, so thanks again to all of them. Here's that planning group from 2019.
There's Rebecca Camacho. She did a lot of work with volunteers.
This was my theme. I like this one. Virtual. So it was GIS virtually everywhere. It was the Tron year. And we had JPL, the guy that is mapping the Mars surface. This was such a cool talk. There's Ron Galpert again. By the way, the guy that won city controller, big open data guy, this younger guy. So maybe we'll get some of that. There's that Tron certificate if you go to GIS Day, if you played it in that year. And some of the talks, again, now it's screenshots, just like this year. Hopefully somebody's taken some screenshots. We'll kind of document it all.
This is the best.
We had a really cool cake baking and cake decorating session with our lead sponsor was Eagle View, and that's Brian and Amanda. That was a really good.
And we'll get a good video later with Ava Marquez showing how she won that.
Did last year. Yeah, absolutely. So again, some screenshots. It was a really fun day. My wife and daughter got involved. They baked a cake and actually won something. It was pretty cool. Here we go. We're going to the next.
Yeah, for the first time, we could actually count our participants. Remember that, Nick? That was always our issue, which how many people came to the booths. Yep.
So here's Steve, right? Steve telling us about last year's event. We had Dr. Scorza. So again, we're talking a lot about equity. We're talking about LA County story this year. He was talking about it a little bit last year as well. These are some students that gave a presentation again from Clark Magnet. This is Rob and Shannon. They're talking about the Equity Explorer tool that we have, and there's going to be more of that. I think Tia is going to tell you about our Equity Hub here. There's Tia and Christine telling us about LA versus hate. There's 15 years. Wow, maybe 14 and a half plus what we're doing now, but it was a good thing, and I thank everybody for that. Look at all the pickleball stuff. I apologize for that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show. So we got about 2 minutes left. Maybe we're already on the time, but I just want to say we're going to have a link in the chat. I made a story map, and me and Mark did. So the story map basically just goes through everything that we just covered. It has the themes. It talks about the locations of the event. I'm going to do this in 1 minute. And the link's going to be there so you guys can check it out. We talk about the scrolls. We talk about some of the documents and tracks that we had, those map galleries, the students that we had. Again, they're all adult now.
Yeah.
This is Mark and Jack with the thumbs up. Some of the cool speakers. There's my former boss, Milan, in the top left there. These are our planning groups. The videos are here. There's the drone boat, the cakes. Warren, again, he's been here for all of our events. And here's there's the two virtual events. And here's the link to the video that we just shared. So that's our story map, and that's going to be available as well. So basically, with that, we want to thank you. That's 2010, Mark and Nick.
Yeah.
And that's last Thursday, Mark and Nick, right? Little receding hairlines and things like that. But we really do have a lot of fun with GIS Day. It really is important to a lot of us. I joke that it's kind of the Full Employment Act, but ultimately the ESRI conference, these are the things that really drive us. They get our juices flowing, and we're happy that you were a part of it. Mark, thanks for 15 years plus of good friendship and good work.
Yeah, I know. If we started together, 2001 when I first came to the county, so it's getting up on 20 plus years now. But it's been the thing that also hits me is when you and I started, we had people like Peter, Milan, Jacob Williams. Those were the champions, because now we're kind of like we're at that role. But it's fun to see like all of the students come through and just get that excitement and where it's going to go in the future. So that was kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to another 15 years of doing it. But I appreciate, again, it's all of the volunteers, it's all of the people in the committee that make this work. I appreciate everything that everybody's doing. So yeah, and it was fun going through the slides and
Good stuff.
retrospective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, thank you.